I'm turning it over to people you already know and love, Tracy, Griffith, and Colleen.
All right. So the topic of this evening's little fireside chat is the topic of joy. We've chosen to interview Tracy because she seems to have this uncanny ability to always be exuding joy. And we've seen her through a lot of downs. And it's like, wait, Tracy, you're joyful right now. What's happening here? What she considers joy to be.
So, if I were defining joy, I would say there's a willingness to be connected to others with my light.
A good friend of yours died today. Can you automatically go to joy,
No,
or does Tracy have a
no, of
process?
course. I mean, it was shocking to see the email from the person, who told. And then like I gotta cry, like cry. I'll cry more. It's when we were getting ready for this, I was telling Rodney and Colleen, like, I cry a lot. So if I were to leave some breadcrumbs for finding joy, I would say allow like what I do, allow myself to go through the emotions of whatever it is. The sorrow, the pain, the fear, and because I know like there's a cycle that we all go through. It gets chaotic, and then we're like gripping for it to be different, and then it's like, wait a minute, maybe there's some allowance. And like I think loving allowance for the cycle of our process to come back.
Even though the joy is there, there's a weird thing that happens, and that sometimes when you forget that you're grieving,
Hmm.
there can be even a little bit of guilt associated with that. And give us a little talk about negative, positive, pushing down, not pushing down, timing.
Yeah, yeah, timing's everything.
This it's
Yeah.
just like such a glorious expression. So I think that's a wonderful tip.
I'm a WYSIWYG. You know what a WYSIWYG is?
Nope.
It's an acronym. What you see is what you get. I'm writing, I'm reaching out to people. I'm really like dialing into community, like my
Mhm.
neighbors and like, what can we do to keep hopeful? I listen to people that I respect and
And one thing that I've found is since COVID, there's really online community too. Like this group that's here tonight,
Mhm.
that feels like a belonging. That feels like a community.
Marcia and I were like, we got to do this community thing. And it took a little while that it got to get off and running.
Hmm.
However, like I created it, co-created it for me because I felt like I
Hmm.
needed it. And I was stepping into doing UZIT at a kind of like assisted living, long-term care, like memory care, motion picture television fund in Southern California. And I knew I would be working with challenged clients,
Hmm.
end of life, immobile, hard stuff to see and be with. And I was like, I'm going to need something to
Hmm.
fall into. And so that's one of the like little breadcrumbs, or I guess you could say, or like not a breadcrumb, but like one of the reasons why this is happening. And we've been doing this for, I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years now.
Do you ever feel that you can fall back? And do you feel like you get compassion burnout and that you're
Mm,
going to allow yourself to be held?
mm.
Or do you feel like you're always sort of giving, giving, giving? That was one of my concerns for
Yeah,
you.
good. Yeah. Well, right after, well, I think everyone knows my house burned down in the Palisades
Right.
fire. Whatever lifetime ago, I was married to not to the person I'm with now, and it was a really tough relationship, and I stayed too long.
And so when you ask for help, are you really asking for help, or are you just asking for somebody to sit there and sort of hold you with compassion? Because I happen to know that you miss your father greatly, and he was a big support for you. He was sort of like your role model for what a dude should be. And how was his passing for you?
Ugh.
Is that too close to the bone?
No, it's fine. No, no. So
Okay.
that was in 2011.
I spoke to you a little bit a few weeks ago, and you had said that you had one regret, and it had to do with your
Yes,
father. Can you
yes,
go there for
yes,
us?
yes, yes, yes.
You've had to do a lot of work to get to this place where you can go through things quickly and you can show up with this beautiful, joyful presence, but there's still that sense of gravitas, I think is the word I'm looking
Sure.
for.
You can't have an easy life and good character. I don't know who said that, but I have that. Like, I don't know who said that. I wrote it down. Maybe you said it in a thing, but did you say that? But how do you have an easy life? Like, you have to have something to like have some friction around to like
Right.
grow. And we all have them.
Okay, let's go to the fires.
Ah.
And let's go to your mom. We haven't heard much about your
Oh,
mom.
yeah.
That
So in the
is
midst of
insane.
our like feeling scarce and scared and like, whatever, all those feelings that we had, like that's where her head's at.
Now, would you say she's a joyful person?
She's hilarious.
When you do a body awareness meditation, can you feel the places where joy is not residing? And can you feel where joy is residing? And
You guys have to come visit. You guys can all come. I got a couple bedrooms. There's Airbnbs everywhere. It's the lavender capital of the world.
oh, how appropriate.
Yeah. Or I don't know about the world, of the country. There's 30 lavender farms in this town.
And so we're looking at you, we're looking at your names. Oh my gosh, and a bunch of you came in since we spotlighted people. So welcome to those of you that came in after I saw you come in.
I'm gonna remove all of our pins so we're all together.
Yeah.
Cool.
So our last announcement is about next month's session, which is it is March 17th, another Tuesday. It's always the third Tuesday of the month, and there's 5 Tuesdays in March, so it ends up seeming like it's in the middle of the month, but it's really the third Tuesday. And in that session, we'll be focusing on use it for populations who've experienced trauma.
Oh,
How
great.
you might how you might adapt the practices a little bit. The practices themselves, especially bearing witness, are so powerful, but there are some adaptations we can make depending on the populations. And so we'll focus on that. Tips, stories, and we hope to see you there.
And who's the guest on that, Marcia?
Me.
All right.
But I'm
All
sure other
Marcia
people
all the
will have
time.
things to bring to it, and Tracy has experience from her work as well, so we'll be in conversation, and I think that'll be an opportunity too to be more in conversation with the group of people who show
Mhm.
up. So we like to have special guests and special programs, and but we also like to fit in times when you all can be part of it. And then the month after that, I'm really excited about that because two of the people we trained here in Columbus, who at the time were at Ohio State University, have been involved in research related to use it. And so we'll talk about some of the studies that have been done about use it and the way people in the medical field are using it and thinking about it. So plenty of goodness coming up yet this year. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.